The baby zombie just boned the wandering trader to death. Minecraft has been making some pretty controversial changes recently, with the goal being that you should explore as much of your world looking for as many village types as possible. However, I'm a bit of a contrarian, and so when Minecraft tells me I need 7 separate villages, instead I think, how can I do that easily in one? So today I'm going to be making the most multicultural village in Minecraft, and it's going to be fun. For me, at least. Maybe not the baby villagers, but speaking of baby villager deportation, hello, I'm IBX Toycat, and this is my village, which has existed from before the villager mob ever did. I've made a few alterations, but what matters is that 7 different types of villager will be living here by the end of the day. This is something that you can follow along with, by the way, if you want for your own world. However, I recommend starting with any non-plains village. This counts as a non-plains village because it looks like a normal one, but it's in a swamp, and it's going to make your life so much easier if you already have one of the types of villager and it's not a plains type. You'll see why later, but it means you only have to cure 5 types of villager rather than 7, so it's a big win in my book. And yes, you are going to have to cure villagers, which means you're going to need 3 major things for this, and I'm going to go get them. Beds are an easy first one because villagers won't be able to breed without them, and you know, I can relate. Golden apples are a slightly more expensive second, and then splash potions of weakness for a third, which requires making water bottles, mixing them with nether warts, then fermented spider eyes, then finally some gunpowder to make them splash. It's funny because this potion of weakness without the splash effect on it can only be used to harm yourself. I probably wouldn't recommend that. Then after waiting a bit, we go out into the night and specifically look for zombie villagers, although you need to look somewhere that you haven't covered in torches, so it's actually quite some distance for me to travel, but let's go there anyway and find the first type of villager. And after looking at the 7 biomes which actually can contain unique zombie villagers, it should be very clear that 2 of these biomes pair very well together. If you can find a frozen and a tiger villager together, that would be real nice, but the other one that you're likely to find is a desert and a savanna. These 2 biomes love each other, and so right on the border, you might find a zombie villager which spawns as part of either village, which is entirely my plan here. Or you might find a bunch of husks. I don't know how it's going to go for you. Oh, and if you're really lucky, you might find a desert next to your savanna, next to a tiger biome. Man, I love the Let's Play world. What insane luck that is. Glad this existed all that time ago, because it's perfect for right now. Looking for zombie villagers is a pure chance operation, by the way. Every zombie that spawns has a 5% chance to be either a baby or a zombie villager. Technically, it can be both a baby and a zombie villager, but yeah, if you go around and kill 19 zombies, on average, your 20th will be the zombie villager. And just about on schedule, this is something like my 17th zombie. It's actually a zombie villager. And now, wow, but just behind him are 2 desert zombie villagers. How wonderful that is indeed. That is 2 types of villager that I just need to keep alive and not have be killed by a zombie. So, yeah, now we're going to leave him over here. We're going to move them all together and try to have ourselves the perfect 1 splash for all of them. So, the more types of zombie villager you can get in one space, the more crazy splashing you can do. So, just to show you, I'm going to get a boat right now to make this as efficient as possible, because obviously zombies in a boat cannot move, although we'll try to get this 3rd one in here regardless. Let's throw the splash potion at all of them. Did we get you? We did. Did we get you? Yes, we did. And so now all we have to do is wait this guy out for about a minute, and we're going to have 3 brand new villagers from 2 brand new biomes. Oh my god, look at how many savanna zombie villagers spawned here. We could make a whole village just from the zombie villagers we find in this one biome, apparently. If it does so happen to reach daytime before your zombies have finished curing, just place a roof over them. Also, oh god, a baby husk has jumped on my villager. I'm gonna have to kill it. Oh no! Oh! God damn it, he's jumped onto the wrong type too. Okay, so, pro tip, don't do what I just did. It's the wrong thing to do. I now know, I have since learned from my actions that that is a bad idea. And so there we go. That's a villager, but he's being attacked by a baby husk. Where is the baby husk, though? I don't see him. Oh, oh, no. Okay, that all went exactly as terribly as it could have gone, I think. But we have 1 desert villager after all of that to show. Oh, he's very close to being attacked by a lot of things right now. So now that we have our villager, there are 2 ways we can move him back to where our village is. Did the boat just break my... I didn't realize that was a thing that happened. But there are two ways that we can get him back to our village. One is to put him in a boat. This is Bedrock only. Sorry to say, Java players, that you aren't able... You can put villagers in boats on Bedrock, but you can't actually move them anywhere if there's more than one. You're gonna have to put a lead on it on Bedrock, which is just impossible to do on Java for reasons I don't know. But you can lead your boat all the way to your village, which often isn't going to be far. It's an easy enough process. The only part where people struggle is getting the villager back up hills. But there are two easy solutions to this. One is just to use water, because obviously a boat can be pulled up water. So if you go high enough up a hill, you can just use the water to get yourself up there. Or even, as you can see with this fun bouncing, you can do most of it if you go high enough up by yourself, which is really fun in my opinion, even if not the most efficient thing in the world. But the second thing you can do is just get close enough to the village that you don't need him to go over the hills, because if I let this villager out of the boat now, I think he'll just walk there manually himself. We'll find out if that's true for sure. But because a villager it automatically links to a nearby village, if you make a pathway there for him, even going up and down hills, he should follow it himself. I say should because I have no idea where he's going right now. If we make a pathway up here, maybe he'll follow that instead of going down into the fake river. Come on this way, friend. You can do it. He's like 99% in the right place. The only problem is there are big walls around the village to keep the outside out, and he's on the wrong side of those. But you know what? He's in the village as far as I'm concerned. Although not as far as any real person is concerned.
Eventually.
Okay, there we go. He is most of the way in the village now. We might have to make like a secret way in, specifically for villagers, specifically right now. But that, you know, that's fine. Every village needs one of these, right? A little secret way in for villagers. Sure, you can have it, Mr. Villager. So now we've got a new member of our village. We need to increase the village by other means, because as soon as you have 2 villagers in your village, which is the bare minimum to call it a village and not just a guy hanging out, by the way, but once you've got 2 villagers in your village, you need to up the supply of beds. You can put these basically anywhere in the village, but just know villagers will go there every single night. And once you have more villagers' beds than you have villagers, something fun will happen after you've farmed yourself enough potatoes, carrots, or breads, that is. Because now we can give enough potatoes to one of our villagers. You know, why are you leaving again? Do you like the desert this much? It's not even a real desert, but you can give enough potatoes to both of the villagers that exist in your village. In my case, I already had a jungle villager because so much of my world is a jungle biome because it changed after I made it. It's a long story, but I have a single jungle villager here, plus this desert villager that I've just attracted, and by giving them both food... Where is he now? Okay, by giving them both food and a reason to love each other, you're playing the big salmon version of Minecraft. Microsoft cares about you more because you give them money. The villagers will start to fall in love, or whatever this is. I don't know that I should be watching this. And a baby villager will pop out based on the biome that you're currently in. So this looks like it's a swamp village, but funnily enough, on that side of the village, it's actually mostly plains, which means we need to breed these guys, but specifically in the swamp part of the village. Or you need to take them somewhere to do their breeding, which is something you can totally do. It just takes a little bit of effort. So I'm gonna get this guy into a boat right now. No, don't you breed until you have. Okay, I know you wanna go back to work. You've just had a child and it's really stressful for you, but you need to produce me a swamp villager because I don't feel like curing one. But yeah, one of the big misconceptions people have about villagers is that the type of baby is dependent on the parents in any way. It's actually not based on the 2 villagers which give birth to someone. It is instead only dependent on one factor, and it is the biome that the baby is born in. And then, if it were to have any, let's say, biome-specific traits, if we imagine a crazy world where that were to happen, then those biome-specific traits would be locked in from birth. You would never be able to change them, but conversely, if you were to want swamp villagers for any reason, and having a village in a swamp would be real handy for that, then just having your 2 villagers specifically give birth in a swamp would be a great way to ensure that. And so here we have 2 villagers making the eye contact we know they love to make. We'll give them some potatoes, because that seems to help. And then we'll watch as they get painfully close, and I guess we'll break this boat here and see if that helps them. And then we'll watch as they try to make a baby in the swamp biome. One of them's in a boat. I don't know if that, like, helps with the process or not. But there we go. Out comes a swamp villager. A desert villager and a jungle villager produced a baby, and the outcome is apparently a swamp. Although, you know what? I don't think they should have done it while the baby was already in the boat, but that is how you get swamp villagers. Have 2 babies give birth in a swamp, but I want to have every type of villager, and so I've got jungle over here, I've got desert over here, I've got swamp over here. If I was unlucky and I needed plains still, a fun fact about plains villagers is they're not actually exclusive to plains in any way. You can find them in any biome that isn't specifically one of these 6 right here. So that does include mangrove swamp for the swamp. That does include, I believe, some snowy mountains will count as taiga. But if you find any biome that isn't one of those, so for example, a cave, the nether, the end, an ocean, you'll get a plains villager there too, which means basically any biome you start in will give you really easy access to the plains. I think the weird bit about this is that the plains villager sort of acts as the game's default villager, which doesn't make any sense if you're going to actually differentiate between them and make some of them better or worse, because 70% of the biomes in the game will give you one of these, and I think that Minecraft should therefore split the other villagers more evenly. Obviously, we've got the swamp on the mangrove swamp for one of these great guys, but maybe that should also include, one of the biomes with the giant mushrooms in, the mushroom biome, or maybe it could include a birch forest as well. I think splitting up, say, the desert villager could spawn in beaches or in oceans as well, if you're not going to give out more villager types, which is the strong preference. I think, basically any solution can be someone should go through a lot of work and fix this. I saw a very giant spill on the way home the other day, and I was like, wow, that sounds like a real big problem someone should fix. And the better thing to do would to do the best job you can with the resources you have. I could have mopped it up with a roll of paper towel, but I figured, someone else has totally got this thing covered. And as a society, we're really good at saying someone else should do something and it should take a lot of work. And honestly, it does take a lot of work to redesign villagers, but if you're trying to redesign their mechanics in a big way, maybe you should redesign the villagers themselves in a big way. Anyway, the important thing for me to do while trying to make a very multicultural village is to find 3 of the remaining 7 types that I don't have, and 2 of them can be found very close by, because I'm going to come right back here to the desert, plains, taiga area where they happen to spawn so closely together. I really am amazed by this closeness. I think it's incredibly useful, and it should be, I didn't bring even my boats. Okay, I've got 1 boat here. It should be an easy time for me if we don't end up exploding, and if no baby husks come in and ruin my day again, which is apparently a real concern I've got to watch out for. So, yeah, this is a nighttime only activity, so you can sit and watch the sun tick by, or you can consider why you haven't subscribed. I think one of the habits I'm trying to change when I work on my videos is having the, like the video in the beginning thing and subscribe near the end thing. I say this a lot, but when you hear something in the same spot over and over again, your brain just tunes it out, and that's not useful for you or me if I'm saying something that no one hears, because it's a waste of my time and your retention and all that stuff, and it's also a waste of your time. So it's important to say something like this in the middle, which is if you want to control the type of YouTube content that you see on your homepage, subscribing is a great way to see more, real, down-to-earth Minecraft videos and less insanity and aimed at 5-year-old stuff, if that's what you want to see. Or if you hate seeing Minecraft, then choosing to unsubscribe might be a good way for that. I don't know you, I'm not the boss of you, but what I can say is it's almost night, and now it's time to fight anything that's not a zombie villager. I really want to believe that we're randomly just going to run into the best villagers immediately, but you are going to have to kill a lot of stuff, or at least run away from a lot of stuff, on the process of getting yourself one of these. Oh, and we're going to find a pillager raid, because of course. I am not going to recommend fighting a raid while you're in the process of setting up a new village, by the way. It is very, very handy once you've got one set up, but for now, we're just going to run away from it. They do despawn quite easily, so we'll do that while we look for zombie villagers. Or actually, before we look for zombie villagers, I can fly away, but you could also just run away and come right back in. One of the things I don't think I ever truly appreciate as much as I should, by the way, is definitely, oh, what is this? I've got half a tree here that's winter mode. I might be able to find an icy zombie villager here. If I am that lucky, I would find 4 types of zombie villager in one spot. I don't think I am going to be that lucky, but we'll monitor it just in case. But one of the things I never really appreciate how lucky you are to have is wings in a Minecraft survival. I think a lot of people watching videos like this are like, Toycat, when you say you just can fly around and do stuff, it kind of, that's not what I can do. This is a Minecraft guide. Once you get to the point where you have an elytra, you don't need to watch tutorials and guides and learn about things anymore. And so I'm always conscious about, like, nothing I do should require having insane redstone knowledge or wings or anything like that. It should be actually accessible to people who maybe know a lot about one area of the game, but might not know everything about every single other, which is something I think a lot of Minecraft tutorials get really wrong. They assume you know everything they know right up to the point where they're learning something for the first time too. to, which just isn't a good way to teach people, in my opinion. I think one of the most useful lessons to learn is that not everyone has the advantages that you have in life, and that some of the things you think of as advantages, or rather some of the things that you have that are advantages, you wouldn't even think of as being a true advantage, which is a hard thing to really get to. But one of those such things is like, you know, getting started on YouTube is really, really hard, and having a channel is like such a big leg up in the game, right, already? Like, people like to say this all the time, but the best time to get into YouTube was 5 years ago. A lot of people don't comment that, like, yeah, people used to tell me that 5 years ago, the best time to get into it 5 years ago, and now people say the best time to get into YouTube is 5 years ago, again, which is weird because it kind of implies that, like, yeah, if you'd have just started then, you'd be doing good, but it's something that I want to, like, be cautious of, not just saying, like, oh yeah, on this channel, I just assume that I have a bunch of people who already want to watch. I think it's important to get better at making videos every single day, and so if you're curious as to what I've been up to this week, it mostly is that, like doing as many of these optimizations as I can, trying to make sure that each video has these improvements without having to entirely reinvent the wheel. One of the traps I got into recently was like, okay, what makes a good video is when you spend 20 hours doing the recording for it. I have a video coming out fairly soon that took way more than 20 hours. I'm like 70% of the way through it, and it's gonna take so long to even finish this thing. But like, I think in reality, you can have a good video that isn't ridiculously time-consuming if you make it actually valuable to people. So it's one of those things that just I've been focusing too long on the wrong thing. People would rather have a good video today than a pretty good video, maybe even a slightly better video in 2 weeks from now. And it's something I'm kind of like relearning, like all these random things. And one of those things is, you know, about the proposition of like, don't just say subscribe. People aren't just going to subscribe because you say it. Give people a reason to subscribe. And hopefully I can do better at doing that. I haven't found a tiger villager yet, but I know that if I just keep on going, the odds will work in my favor eventually. I think there's a lot of things like that. Like if you keep on doing good things, it will work eventually. If you keep you know, trying entirely different things, and when you get a start, try something new, it might not go so great. I think the same thing is actually true for the thumbnails on this channel. I've gotten really good at working out what makes something look like a toy cat thumbnail, in my opinion, but at the expense of making ones that people who aren't subscribed to the channel would want to click. And so the funny thing about YouTube is if you show the video to enough people and they don't click it, it says like, ooh, well, I guess we're not going to show this to other people because we know that they won't click it also. Meaning that I am actually doing my subscribers a disservice by having my videos look too much like they're just other videos, because then people won't want to click them, and then the right people don't get to see them. There are all these sorts of tiny lessons that I'm trying to like relearn despite having learned at some point. And I think that's one of the weird things about where I'm at, is like how often in life you can learn a lesson once, say you've learned from it but not truly learned from it, and you have to learn it over and over again. Just like this zombie villager curing stuff, it can go really poorly for me, so I have to stay focused and make sure I know what I'm actually looking for and at. And this is way too small a biome to actually search back and forth for a zombie villager. So just to keep things moving, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill these guys right now. Okay, they're gonna be pretty weak by the time they're cured, but I'm gonna kill these guys right now. Just 1, 2, quickly. You have to as quickly, fast as you can to each other if you have two in the same boat, because otherwise one cures and attacks the other. Becomes a whole problem. But now that they're being cured, we can just kind of walk around this biome and hopefully find a single guy before the day. Thankfully, I do have a lot of splash potions of weakness. If you have very few, be more sparing. But this means that I'm making some progress while I work on the bigger stuff. Oh, there's a whole second tiger biome over here, actually. Oh, and there's a zombie villager, but for the wrong biome over there. That sucks. Oh no, okay, it happened, but then it's unhappened. We now have 2 more happy zombie villagers, which is great, and we bring them back home, and apparently we'll make progress on the tiger one tomorrow. I have to admit, I do feel a little ridiculous just dragging villagers around the world, but it's what has to be done. If I can just make it home with these guys, I'll be able to officially say I have one village that contains 5 unique types of villager, which is pretty cool, right? Okay, it's taken some serious maneuvering to get these back to the base. Knowing that they don't like to walk all the rest of the way themselves, I'm trying to bounce them and oh god, what have I done with them? No, okay, they're spinning around in circles. It's going very poorly for them. Let's stop hanging them and let's just let them go free and just see where they decide to go. Okay, very far away from me is a very predictable guess. Okay, I put them back in the boat and we're gonna do it the hard way. Man, relocating villagers is fun, huh? If the Wandering Trader counts as a type of villager, I technically have 6 types of villager in my base. I don't think he does. He's a very weird guy. I'm glad they're overhauling him. It's weird because whenever Mojang does something really controversial, they kind of mix in some really non-controversial things, like the Wandering Trader, and I feel like it's almost a punishment that when it's like, yeah, we don't really want this, they're like, well, you don't get the good bits either. Funnily enough, you see this with the government as well, like, okay, so we're gonna do these really cool changes, it's gonna come with a slight, tax cut or increase, and then everyone's like, well, we don't like that. And they're like, fine, you can't have the good things either. And I feel like, it's funny. It feels like a mad parent being like, well, you don't get to enjoy good things if you don't get to take the bad things with them. Which is maybe an interesting view, maybe a paternalistic view that we all have. But in a way, is Mojang not? Also, come on, don't go back that way. Go in the village. You know it's the way you want to go. There we go, he does know. Nighttime means it's zombie villager hunting time, and given that this is the third night in a row, we're coming close to an hour spent doing this, but I think it's an important little activity because honestly, how often do you get to see this many villager types in one space? Even in creative mode, it's very tricky to do because in creative, the spawn egg is based on the biome you're placing in, which means that if we can just get this achieved, I feel like we'll have some very good things. This is a much bigger frozen biome, so I'm going to be watching this space. Might lead to some good things if we can just find a guy with this face. But yeah, Mojang does have a kind of paternalistic view towards the community, and it kind of makes sense why when you think about the power imbalance. I mean, they literally develop the game, and all we do is play video games and have opinions on them. And, it's kind of absurd when you think about it that it could be any other way than this, because have you ever, even just like making Minecraft, of course you haven't made Minecraft yourself, the people who make Minecraft did, although not the people who work there now necessarily, but even when it comes to coming up with the idea for Minecraft, could you come up with an idea for Minecraft or a Minecraft update that's actually good enough and could actually be made by people and people would actually enjoy? The most popular ideas for Minecraft are all really terrible. I think would actually be unpopular with 90% of the community, so Mojang has the job of making updates which everyone likes on some level, or at least the vast majority do. It's a surprisingly hard challenge, but it means they have to take this view of like, look, we're doing this thing and it's going to be really good for you, you're going to like it when it's done, but because of the whole snapshot process, people see an update before it comes out and can say, oh, but actually I just like it how it is now. And the problem with liking it how it is now is it leads to all sorts of, the thing is, we think we like it as how it is now until we see something much better. Like, until we're used to something better, we think right now is the best. I think that's where a lot of people get scared off. I've seen a very interesting uptick in comments being against this cape right here. I think it's just a new cape option. I think it's weird that they've got the, the geographic restrictions, and I also think it's weird that they waited a few months to do this. I think there was a month that would have made sense for this. But a lot of people have extreme negative reactions, not because they hate people who make different life decisions to them, although maybe some people are like that, but in reality is because the world is changing so that people who make different life decisions for them than them are going to be seen as the default is their fear, is that they're going to be the weird ones on the outside. I think this is where a lot of people have fears in all sorts of mannerisms. I mean, you look at migration debates and stuff like that, but, going beyond the scope of a Minecraft video, I think people fear when a Minecraft update changes something they already have, because, for instance, I had a friend who got back into Minecraft after years of not playing, and she was just really mad that she couldn't mine at Y11 to find diamonds anymore. She wanted diamonds, and she was trying to play the Minecraft she knew, but Minecraft had changed so much since then, and because on Bedrock you can't go back, that was just the version she was stuck with. And I even see some people get like that with my channel. Look, a spider jockey, by the way. Some people are like, wow, it used to be way better. Whereas a lot of people go back and they're like, I just can't understand you here, Toy Cat. I thought that talking at the speed I used to speak at in my videos was objectively the best way. High information density is how you want to learn about things. But I also think that doing it all the time with no breaks wasn't a good idea, which is why I'm trying to balance it more nowadays. Also, we haven't found a single zombie villager. I found so many other mobs here. This is definitely a taiga biome, and even if it wasn't, we'd find a plain zombie villager, right? What is going wrong here? I think we've got to just keep looking around and trusting the system, or we could say the system is broken and we could try and overthrow it. Depends on how you want to do things. But I think that's why, people get really easily kind of fearful of, trying to change things such that your way of doing things is wrong, partially because companies have huge incentives to do, and in fact do this all of the time. Before the idea, do you remember, maybe you don't remember because it's long before our lifetimes, but the idea of using shampoo twice was just invented by shampoo manufacturers because, yeah, obviously, we can't, everyone's already buying our product, how can we sell more of it? Well, we made people use more, you can't just convince people to use double as much. No, convince people to use the same amount, but twice. The same with every toothpaste company. They always advertise toothpaste strips that look like this, but if you ask any dentist, you need like a pea-sized amount of toothpaste. And so they're encouraging you to use 3 times as much, because it's the only way. Imagine if I said something like, I couldn't get away with this, but the only way to actually enjoy a Toy Cat video is watch 3 at the same time. Also, the only way to truly enjoy the Toy Cat channel is when you go to work, set up a playlist of all my videos somewhere on there. Pick one of the playlists and just hit it on autoplay and then go to work, making sure, of course, that you watch the ads all the way through or something like that. That would be insane if I tried to argue that that was actually a good thing. But every now and then, you know, places and companies are successful that way. I don't know, I watched I've been playing a game recently, a very popular game that recently had a TV show adaptation, and it's weird because I watched the TV show adaptation first, and like it's a very diverse lineup, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, it's set in America, of course it's gonna be like that. But then playing the game, all of the characters who are, like, you know, the character that's deaf, he's not deaf, he's just young. The character who's like this, he's not actually Hispanic, he's just this. Even the main guy who is white, maybe Hispanic's daughter, his daughter is black for reason in the show, and I was like, oh, that's fun, there's probably a lore reason for that, but it's not in the game, so there's no lore reason, they're just like, well, we can change it, make it a bit different. And I think those tiny changes that have no reason make people fearful, because what is the reason if you're not one of those groups that feels super represented by it and maybe gets big boosts? It's just like, oh, you're just making things different for the sake of appeasing people that I don't know about, is how people will see it. And so the same thing can be true for Minecraft. Like, who really wants to see villager changes? And the truth is, you all do. When it comes to, okay, also, nothing today, apparently. Very sad. But everyone feels like they don't want to see villager changes, when in reality, trying to explain the enchantment system to someone brand new is really weird, because you're like, there's an enchantment table, it's really cool, except actually it stops being cool the moment you have a villager. You trade for your books like any sane person, and it's like, wait, there's a whole enchantment system, and the way it works is villagers just randomly spawn them out of nowhere. That is the, you know, the new player is the one who'd be most appeased by something, and it's the same with YouTube success. It seems like the easiest thing to do is to go for people who already care about something, but actually it's new players who might care the most, and it's weird to say. But yeah, I have to now wait around for a whole 10 minutes, doing nothing, by the way. I know I could have been productive while I waited for the day to change, but what I actually did is I looked at Minecraft memes. But speaking of looking at Minecraft memes, I think that's what the community at large is basically doing when we have big opinions about how Minecraft should be developed, and in a way, you might even be hampering the game by doing so. But on the other hand, you know, shouldn't your opinion matter? Shouldn't the people playing the game and making it success be one of the biggest contributors? It's hard to be sure. All I am sure of is that I'll sit and stare at the sun for a few seconds. And now I'll go and find a zombie villager in this biome. I mean, there's a fox in here, for God's sake. There's gotta be a zombie villager at some point. Oh, there we go. We finally got our hands on one. Although I 100% am going to be greedy and hope for a second one in this biome somewhere. Is that likely? No. But is it worth trying? Yes. I don't know where my nearest snow biome is, but it's a distance. I'm starting to think this area will never spawn a zombie villager, and so let's just go for it right now. Nice and easy. That is a cured zombie, if nothing else. Oh, this is the opposite of a cured zombie. I crafted the glowstone from the witch into glowstone, which is weird to say, but now means I can light up the area around my zombie villager, or soon to be, my very vulnerable villager. Do you think I'll be able to use him to lure in some zombie villagers from here, or do you think it's a lost cause and we've just gotta go for the high effort solution? I'm not sure, but I am going to be taking this fella on a bit of a rowing adventure. Maybe while picking up a savannah villager along the way. I stopped a villager along the way, hoping to find some... Man, underappreciated. Okay, so to actually get them in the village, I'm gonna swim them right up here and hope that... Oh god, what has that achieved? That is just a lot of damage to some villagers. Apparently, they don't want to come in, no matter how easy I make it for them. But now you can see, as clear as day, here is my tiger villager alongside my jungle villager, and over there is my baby swamp guy next to my desert guy, and then here's a plains fella, and you know, I'm missing a biome, I'm pretty sure. But you know what, that's fine. If we just imagine that Savannah is in here and not chilling down under the village very lost, then we've got all 6 fellas in one village, meaning we're just missing the Icy Plains guy. This village is a really, really weird one to find, but I insist on not doing precisely that, even though I've done it once in my world. And so instead, I'm just going to find the closest place that has some frosted blocks on the ground that looks very icy, and I'm going to take my chance on that. If you want to be extra short, you can load a copy of your seed in Creative and spawn villagers on the ground, but I feel as though this world is too tricky to use a real seed copy for, and so you could either use the marketplace copy, which, fun fact, the Let's Play world is available on the marketplace, update pending right now. Go to marketplace, type in Toy Cat, and you can find my world, and we could do precisely that to find the nearest icy spot. Wow, there's 1,800 reviews and they say it's got 4.7 stars on average. It must be a good map, that's for sure. I know that if I were a villager, I would be very envious of any villager who got to live on that very well-reviewed map, and there we go. Now that justifies my little bit of a crime right there. But yeah, I'm quite lucky to not need to use a copy of my world to find my nearest snowy biome, and the reason behind that is because of the fact that I have this, my ice highway. I can easily look along the side and find something that is frozen, and I don't think it'll be that far because I know that worst case scenario, if I don't find anything too soon, if I don't find anything in my new Nether, which I'm still slowly building, if I don't find anything in this swamp over here, what I will find is my giant ice spikes biome. I think you couldn't get a seed as good as this in modern day Minecraft because the amount of things that generate so closely to other things which are also incredible is just amazing to me. And so yeah, this is my big, ridiculous over the top lava build in my ice spikes biome, but the ice spikes biome is definitively, I think with zero doubt in anyone's mind, a cold enough biome to spawn in cold villagers. I desperately hope at least. And so now we do the same thing of waiting till the sun sets. Okay, it's time to go and find, wait a minute, wait, I looked away and the moment I did, one spawned right in front of me. My God. Whenever something too insane happens, I have to be like, you know, someone's gonna look at this and say, wow, there's just someone in your world doing that or something, and realistically, I could show you my world, and you could still look at that and say, wow, I bet it's still fake, but I am just floored by those odds. I just have to hope he doesn't drown now, which it looks like he's going to for no good reason. Okay, just come over here, friend. Just get out of the water. It's nice and safe out of the water. You can come and live in one of these lovely boats. Yes, you can. And you know what's even better than living in the boat? Being splashed with a potion of weakness and then being cured to death. Or maybe not to death. Definitely cured, though. This is my second pillager raid I've encountered today. Do you think this counts as a type of villager? I mean, they are pillagers, which is basically villager with a weird V at the start of it. And so, maybe not. Let's bring this guy on a bit of a journey home after he stops being mean and attacking me. Oh, let's also throw our trident at these guys because I think they're trying to get close. No, do not approve. That is not okay. Oh no, they looked at me. They looked at me. Please stop looking at me. Yay! He's cured and he's ready to go on a bit of a road trip to get back home. We are all the way at 12:16 after all, which means might just be a little bit of a journey if we want to get him back. But I'm willing to do this with you, friend, because that's what friendship and or kidnapping is. Funnily enough, the idea of making a village from 7 different types of villager has been on my to-do list forever, but it used to be that zombie villagers were broken, they wouldn't spawn enough, and when they would, it just became near impossible to actually do, so it's really fun to do this, not just from any villager, but mostly, you know, from the majority. Oh no, watch out, no, but it's really fun to be able to do this, mostly from villagers who will be cured from scratch, meaning they'll be extra grateful towards me, and all the trades will count for a lot more. I just think that's fun. Oh yeah, we really have to stop this guy taking so much damage, I say as he almost dies to an arrow strike. No! No! Oh, my God, it is so hard to kidnap it is so hard to move villagers around willingly these days. It just feels like there's always some form of raider getting in the way of viewing it. What matters though is that he's finally home and all I have to do is make a little hole through here and he'll walk right through it, I hope. Or he can go that way. Yep, that way works for me too. Sure, wonderful. And just like that, we have now officially done it. We have ourselves a full village, and as long as none of them die, which is always worth once you put a lot of effort into a village, I always recommend going through just a little bit of effort to make sure it's mob-proof. How can you make sure it's mob-proof? 1, make sure there's no easy ways in and out. That way mobs can't get in, your villagers can't get out. Number 2 is to cover the places in torches. There are all sorts of odd spots that you're probably not thinking about that aren't going to spawn mobs most likely, but you never know where the tiny little gap is that is going to cause you some issues. So just place some torches in anywhere that looks like it might be a potential issue in the future. Future you will thank current you, which is very rarely the case. Usually you make problems for future you that past you doesn't like to reciprocate, but that is something that we haven't done today because this should be a very well lit up village, in my opinion. Although it could probably do with a little bit of smoothing out over here, so let's do precisely that. Just make sure no one knows there was ever anything down there. Nice and easy to do, in my opinion. And then let's go make sure we got a head shock. And then let's do a head check to see that we really have all the villagers. This is red, this is green, my favorite. This is yellow, this is other yellow, this is second red for some reason. This is white, this is neutral, which is interesting. Oh, no, don't you, oh, I just made this point about why we shouldn't do that, and he's proving the reason why. He's gone trapped out of the village with no easy way back in. I'm gonna make a hole for you this time, but I won't do it again. Just a warning. But yeah, always have just a little gap in there, something to stop precisely that happening. And then finally, here is Blue Guy. That is 7 unique types of villager, all living in one place. So you might have noticed that the majority of my village is made up of 2 types of villager, both of whom love paper. This is interesting because it not only gives me a place to sell my insane sugarcane farm to, but also because it allows me to try something I've always been curious about. But to show you what I mean, here is a trade of a cartographer. I can give him paper, the emeralds of course first of all, that's really wonderful, but then I unlock this super discounted trade for glass panes. Every 4 glass panes I'll give him, he'll give me 1 emerald. Now if we go to this discounted librarian, he's got a chance of offering as a 3rd level trade 4 glass, right? And so, as you can see, if we sell him enough stuff, maybe we should be selling books instead of just these. But as you can see, if we make him enough books for him to be happy with me, something fun will happen. So 3 levels of these, is that good? Okay, one more book trade. But if we now buy some glass from him, we can buy glass for 4 for 1 emerald. So that means we buy 12 glass for 3 emeralds, right? And we get a lot of experience when we make that trade. But then what we get out of it is we get 32 glass paints. Is that correct? That's insane, really. 6 is 16, which means when we go back to this other guy now, he will buy those 3 emeralds worth of glass panes for 8 emeralds, as you can see right here. Which means that all of a sudden, I've turned 3 emeralds into 8, and most importantly of all, got myself a bunch of experience in the process, and I guess work towards another Woodland Explorer map, if that's what I want. I now have such a village that in the globalization means that things are worth different amounts in different parts of the world. In his part of the world, glass is really, really rare, whereas in the frozen part of the world, where everything's icy, glass isn't really that valuable. Oh god, oh no, this is exactly what I didn't want. How did this even spawn? No. Whereas in his part of the world, as I was politely saying before being cut off, getting glass is really, really easy, and so he gives it away for basically nothing. That by having a village where you have very nice trades that people are definitely making willingly, you can make some insane experience gains without ever having to expend emeralds by basically matching a buyer and a seller, right? And that is what I am doing. It is a good deed that I am doing. And yeah, I think this is just one small example of things you can do when you have a bunch of villagers all in one place. Obviously, they don't need to be different villager types, but it does add some charm to the place, right? Also, where the heck did those zombies spawn from? I want to know. There's nowhere in this village that's light. How did it happen? It was daytime too. Anyway, whatever. That doesn't matter quite as much as what does matter in the world, which is being able to get myself a lot of experience without any cost. And apparently also some emeralds at the same time might be a handy side effect. And now I can save the rest of these guys for doing whichever trades I feel like. So a Fletcher, he's not a Fletcher, he's a cartographer. I can get some Fletchers in here, I can get some Fishers in here, I can get some diamond armor for cheap if I really want to. I can now create an easy source of any of those other things. Do we want a Fletcher? We might want a Fletcher. But yeah, that's one of the wonderful things about this, in my opinion. And maybe it's a wonderful thing in your opinion. opinion too, or maybe it's not. Maybe you just found this fun to follow along, but I have every single villager type in one village now, and I just think that's absolutely beautiful. Maybe you do too. Either way, this is the most multicultural Minecraft village, which is something that Minecraft must love me for, and yeah, I do think that I hope all the villagers like this too, because sure, they might all be trapped here forever, doing jobs they don't want to do, because otherwise a man with an axe come around and kill them, but it could be worse. It could be zombies that kill them, and so, you know, I feel like I am just reiterating the premise of The Last of Us here, but whatever. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found it fun that I finally repopulated this village after so many years of being empty. I used to use the old mechanic based on doors, but then all the villagers died at one point due to a glitch, and I sure hope these new ones don't, because it took me so long to find them all, but I hope you found value in that, because I'll see you in the next one. And indeed, a live stream tomorrow. I might be back to Super Flat soon, which is exciting. But if not, you can see another Let's Play every Monday, including the next one, and I have something really fun lined up for that one too. But for now, thank you for watching, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Also, wait, I cured you. Why aren't you... Whatever, you know, it's fine. You'll have the villagers come together.